Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how you can view the contents of a zip file on your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, while macOS allows you to easily unzip files and to create new zip files, there's no easy way to view the contents of a zip file without extracting everything from it. Now, there are third-party apps that will do this, but you can actually do it using the terminal on your Mac. And since you can do it in the terminal, you can take those terminal commands and use those in a shortcut to make it easy to do. So starting off here, I've got two example zip files here. And I'm going to use the terminal to see what's inside them. So I'm going to use Spotlight and launch the terminal. And then there are many different ways to view the contents here. One is to use a utility called zipinfo. And with zipinfo, all you need to do is have that command and then put the file after it. Now I don't have to type the entire path here. I can just drag and drop from the Finder into Terminal and it will type the path for me. Now I just hit return here and the simple command will give me a list of everything in the zip file. It will even show me the number of bytes in the file and date information. And at the bottom it shows me the total, the number of bytes uncompressed, and the number of bytes compressed, an amount that zipping it all up together saved. In a case like this, the files are probably zipped together for easy transport, not necessarily to save space. Now another way to do this is to use the unzip command, which is what you would normally use to unzip a file in the terminal. There's really no need to use that as I could just double click on this file and it will unzip in the Finder. No terminal needed. But if I use unzip with the -L parameter and then I drag the file in, press return, it will list the contents instead of extracting them. And you can see I get a nice list here. I get the size and the date as before and the name of the file. I think it looks a lot better. Unfortunately, it doesn't include that nice summary information at the bottom. But I'm going to go with this as the command that we're going to use in Shortcuts. So in the Shortcuts app, I'm going to create a new shortcut. And I'm going to call this View Zip Contents. And I'm going to add an action for executing a shell script. Now it comes with some sample code in there. We don't need that. Instead, we want to use that unzip command with -L. And now we want to have the path of the zip file. Now what we want to do is we want to pass that in as a parameter. So here we've got your input and we can change that to be shortcut input. And now we get at the top these parameters we can set. Receive any. We don't want any. We just want files. So we'll change that there. And input from, and we'll change it. If I click there you can see it goes to the information here on the right with the details. I'll say let's use this as a quick action so we can right click on the file and access this shortcut. So now the input comes in here. We're going to use the input as arguments. And that allows us to do $1 as the first argument. So a file comes in here and it gets passed in here and replaces this. One more thing I want to do here is change if there's no input to ask for and have it ask for files. So we can still run this shortcut all by itself and that'll just prompt us to select a file. Now after it runs this shell script it's going to have the output here. We need to see it. One of the many ways we could see it is by using the quick look action right there and it will shell script result in quick look. So it'll just come up in a temporary little window. So now that we've got this added here, let's give it a try. So if we want to use it on this file here, normally I would control click on it, right click or two-finger click on a trackpad, and then normally it would be under quick actions. But it's not because I need to customize first. It'll take me into system settings, all the way down into extensions, and the window where I can select quick actions to show in the Finder. So I need to scroll down here and find this. I'll select it and now it should appear in that list. So let's try it again and this time I'm going to go to quick actions. There it is. Now I can select it. It's going to run that shell script and it's going to produce the output here. So far so good, but there are two modifications I want to make. First, if I try it with this file instead of the second file and I use the same thing, look at what I get. I'm going to get a bunch of files here like this one and this one and this one. These are hidden files that the Mac Finder uses but you usually don't see. When I zipped up this folder it took those files with into the zip file. And if I were to unzip I wouldn't see them. They'd be invisible. So it would be nice not to have one for every real file that's there. So back here in Terminal, if I use unzip-L and I include the file there like that, I can now pipe that into another shell command. So I'm going to use the pipe character that's right above the return key on US keyboards. And I'm going to pipe it into grep, which is a way to process text. And I'm going to say -v to exclude, and then in quotes I'm going to exclude any lines that have certain characters. And this takes 2 underscores and MACOS X like that. Any line that's got that in it, just exclude it. And if I run this now, you could see it excludes those and only has the real files that are there. So let's take this and add it into our script here. So now with that modification we can try the shortcut again, Quick Actions, View Zip Contents, and the results will be just the real files. Now remember how I said I liked how there was a summary when we used the zipinfo command? Well, it turns out there's a way to get just that. If you do zipinfo and then -t as the parameter and then bring in the file there, we run it, we see the number of files, bytes uncompressed, bytes compressed, and amount saved. Now there's no reason we can't use this in the same shell script that we're using in the shortcut. So in the very next line here I'm going to do zipinfo and then -t and then use the same parameter, $1. So that should give us that line of info right after we get the list. So now when we try this, we'll see the results of both commands. Here we've got the list coming from unzip-L and here we have the summary line from zipinfo-t. So now you've got a great way to see the content of any zip file by just using this quick action in the Finder. And if you want to run it all by itself, either here in Shortcuts or maybe have it in the pinned menu there, you can run it, and since it didn't find any input, it's going to prompt you for input. You can select a file and get the info from that zip file. So I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.